In this video, I'm going to show you how to work with different data structures in Python. But before, this is going to be part 2 of the Python crash course. And before I do this one, let me show you how to upload a Python notebook to the Google Colab. And if you don't have the screen, just search for Google Colab, C-O-L-A-B from the Google, and then you're going to end up on the screen. And right now on my downloads folder, I have the Python crash course part 1. And I can go to file and then go to upload notebook, and then make sure that you're going to be in the upload section here. Then click on browse, and I will go with the Python crash course part 1. This will probably take 10 seconds just to upload this whole Python notebook. And I have the things that I have done in the previous video. Okay. And this part is important because most of the time I'm going to give you a Python notebook that I'm going to ask you to upload. And then this is the way to upload the Python notebook. And let's create a new notebook from scratch. I'll go to file and then new notebook, and let's work on this one. And I'm going to give this a name, Python crash course part 2. Okay. And I'm going to upload this one to Canvas 2. Let's get started. Remember last time you were working with the lists. Let's say I'm going to recreate the list one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to explain you the nested lists. This is just a regular list. It shouldn't take this much time to. Let's say I'm going to create another list. And this time I'm going to say 1, 5, 4, 5. And inside the list, I'm going to put another list. Okay, let's give this a name, 7, not 7, 10, 11, 12. This is quite common in Python. It basically means inside the list, I have another list. Let's say I want you to go grab the number 11. And if you just go to counting, you're just going to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't work that way. Okay, let's have a look at another list. And remember, 1 is in position 0, 4 is in position 1, and so on. At first, I'm going to go grab the whole list, the one that I just highlighted here, that includes 10, 11, and 12. And if you keep counting, this is going to be in position 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And if I look for another list 3, I'm going to go get the sub list, which is going to be 10, 11, 12. And let's say I want you to go get the number 11. In this case, you're going to have another bracket, and this time you're going to search for 1. Okay, the reason is this: 10 is in position 0, 11 is in position 1. That's how you're going to get the number 11. Okay, and keep this in mind. This could be in like a nested structure. It basically means inside a list you can have another list, and inside that list you can have another list, and the list, this is just called like a nested structure. If you want to access like any kind of like a value inside the nested list, this is the way that you're going to do. Okay, and these are called lists. Another data structure that we have is called sets. Let's create a set, and you need the curly brackets for sets. Let's 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1, and 5. And the sets are basically the same set operations in your math class. Let's say I created the set, and if I show you the set, you're going to be a little bit shocked. In sets, you can't have the duplicate values. It's going to remove the duplicates automatically. Okay, and there are also tuples. Let me explain. Let me add another. Let me remove this one so that you won't get confused. And let's give the name my tuple. I'm going to use the parentheses 1, 2, 3. Okay, tuples look like lists, but they are not exactly the same thing. This is the way that you can access the tuples, just like the way that you're looking with the lists. And I'm using the keyword lists and the arrays similarly, but in Python environment, they are not the same thing. And inside the list you can have like different values of, like, you can have an integer and string and so on in a list. You're going to see like a NumPy arrays later. In a NumPy arrays, everything is to be of the same type. Okay, and let's go have a look at the mytuple. And right now, whenever we look at the mytuple 0, it's going to return number 1. The difference between the list and the tuple is this: in any list, I can change the value the way that I want. If you want to change the value in a tuple, it's going to give you an error. Okay, and the difference between the tuple and the list is this: and you can change the list elements anytime you want. Okay, for example, let's go have a look at the my list. You can say my list 0 is number 99. It's going to be updated. You can have a look at the my list here, but you cannot change the tuple values at all. Tuple values are constant. They will never change. Okay, you may be asking, why do we need the tuples? There will be some scenarios or situations in which you don't want the end user to change inside anything in the tuple. That's why you're going to use a tuple. And you're also going to work with the dictionaries. Dictionaries, in the past we used to have phone books, and dictionaries are just basically a set of keys and the values. Let me explain this way. Let's say key 1 is going to be value 1, and key 2 is going to have value. I can give any name that I want for the key value pairs. Okay, that's a dictionary, and the way that you're going to access a dictionary is just using the brackets. But instead of saying 0, 1 and so on, zeros and ones are not going to work fine. Let's have a look at the key 1. That's going to return the value. The idea is that dictionaries are just a group of key and value pairs. And if you say D0, you're going to get an error because it doesn't exist. Okay. And similarly, if you go have a look at the D, let's say key 2, actually key 2 exists. Let's do key 3. That's also giving you an error. It's going to say it doesn't exist. Okay. If you happen to get this error that says like key error key 3, it basically means you have the key 3 doesn't exist inside the dictionary. That's the only problem that we have. And so far you learned lists, dictionaries, tuples, and sets. Let's continue. And let's see simple operation. Hey, by the way, anyway, I will let me explain the basic operations. Let's say you have a you are going to check whether 1 is greater than 2, and this is going to evaluate the true and false. These are called booleans in Python. And pay attention to details. The false's F is uppercase. If you have 2 greater than 1, you're going to end up with true. The spaces doesn't matter for Python. For example, this is the same thing with this. Okay, nothing changes. And you can also create something like x equal to true. This is going to work out fine. You see the true is turned out to be blue automatically in Python notebook environments, Google Colab, because this is a reserved keyword. And if you want to check, let's say y equals to number 5. Okay, double equal to sign means check whether this variable is equal to 5 or not. Let me explain the difference. The one that you see, this guy, the one that I just highlighted, is called assignment operator. It basically means set the number 5 to be the value of the variable y. This one, the double equal to sign, means check whether y equals to 5 or not. Okay. And you also have something like y not equal to 5. It basically means check whether y is not equal to 5 or not. That's going to be false because y is equals to 5. And you already know that y is greater than or equal to, let's say, 7. And let's say y is less than or equal to 7. These are the basic operators that you should remember very well. We also have and false. Let's say you have 1 less than 2 and 5 less than 7. This is going to evaluate the true because both the left side, the one that I just highlighted, and the right side is true. And if you have something like, and by the way, whenever you're working with these things, make sure that you put them into parentheses. You do not have to, okay? But when you put things into parentheses, it will be easier to read. And it's just going to make the life way more easier, okay? And you also have the or. Okay, let's do this one. 5 greater than 7. This is going to evaluate the true because the left side is going to be true. You already understand the and or. You already used it before. That's why I'm not spending so much time on them. And I'm also going to cover the if statements in this video. Let's create another variable called z equals to 3. Okay. And sometimes you're going to use if structure. Let's say if z is greater than 5, I'm going to put colon and I'm going to press enter, print. Inside the print, I'm going to say z is greater than 5. Okay. Since this is not true, this part is not true, it's not going to print z is greater than 5. But you have to understand the syntax very well. You start with the letter if, and then you put the condition, the one that I just highlighted, z greater than 5. And after the condition, you put a colon and then press enter. When you press the enter, the Python environment is going to put a tab automatically. And it basically means this is the part that is going to run if the condition is true. Okay. Let's change the z from 3 to 10, and let's rerun this whole thing. This is going to like output z is greater than 5 because right now the condition is true. And you can even multiple lines here. This part is super important. Let's put another line here, and since both of them are indented, they're going to be running together. Okay, basically means those two lines right now is part of the if block. Okay, I can write the same thing this way. Okay. And you're going to see no difference, but let's do this one. Let's make it z equals to 3 again. And here's what I'm going to do. Let's go back. And none of the stuff over here is going to run because this condition is not true. But let's do this one. Oops, not now. I'm going to edit all the way to the end. I'll copy the same line. But this time I'm going to unindent the second print. This basically means that if z is greater than 5, it's going to print this line. Okay? And the second print block has nothing to do with the if block at all. It's always going to print. Okay? I hope you get the idea. The idea is this. As long as you keep the indentation, the text or the code is going to be part of the same block. Otherwise, it's not. Okay? And let me explain this way so that we have a better idea. Let's make the z equal to 7. And let's copy and paste the same code. This time, both of them are going to run. Okay? Because this part is going to be true. And this is going to print this line, and then it is always going to print this line. Okay? And the idea is this: make sure that you pay attention to indentation. As long as you are in the same indentation level, it's part of the same block. Okay? Let's do this one. If z is greater than 5, I'm going to print z is greater than 5. And I'm going to switch back to the same level with the if statement, and I will type else. Okay, semicolon, and I'm going to type print z is not greater than 5. Okay, and here's what is going to happen. And remember, z is 7 in this case. It's going to print the first part. Okay. And let me copy and paste the same code. But this time I'm going to make the z equal to 10 first. And let's rerun the same code. It's going to output the second part, which says z is not greater than 5. And this is the important. It basically means if and else are in the same indentation level. If this part is true, it's going to run this line. Otherwise, it's going to run the next line. Okay. And let's continue. And I'm also going to show you elif statement 2. Let's say if z is greater than 5, I'm going to print z is greater than 5. And I'm going to put elif. Elif basically means I'm going to test another statement. This is basically shortened version of else if. And let's say if z is greater than 4, I'm going to print z is greater than 4. And I can even put another else if statement. Let's say z is greater than 3. I'll print z is greater than 3. And all the way to the end, I'm going to put else. Okay. And I will print otherwise. Okay. Because the else part is basically otherwise. Let's run this thing. And it's still going to print out z is greater than 5. The reason is this. I set the z equals to 10. It basically means this part is true. That's why it is going to show up this way. Let's copy this code. And let's say z equals to 4.5. And I'm going to rerun the same code. This time you're going to see z is greater than 4. And the idea is this. Keep this in mind. And even though this part is also true, the execution will never come to this point, because it's going, this part, the one that I just highlighted, z greater than 4, is going to be true. It's going to run anything below this elif, which is print z is greater than 4, and then it's going to be done. Okay. And let's do this one another time. Let's say this time z is going to be 3.5. It's going to say z is greater than 3. And let's change it one more time. Let's say z is number 2. It's going to print the otherwise. And you need to understand this logic very well. If, elif, else. You can put multiple elif statements. It's all fine. It's going to be optional. Even the else is optional, but I strongly recommend you to put else all the time, so that you understand. Sometimes you make like logic mistakes in the code, and if you don't put the else, you will not realize that you're making a mistake. And it's always a good idea to put the else all the way to the end. Okay, and that's all for this video. And I'm also going to show you the for and the while loops in the next video. Remember, this is part number 2. And I'm going to shoot a series of video, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye bye. And I'm going to save this file and then put it into the canvas too. Bye bye.